Well guys, good morning and good afternoon and good evening to all. Welcome to Hartung Family Farms. It's a race against the rain. We got rain coming tonight. Curtis is out working ground. Nathan is up planting beans. Pat's down south planting corn. With any luck today, we're gonna be done planting corn south of the farm. We're gonna be done planting soybeans, period. It's gonna be a big day. And I'm gonna work and bust my butt to catch up to the corn planter, spraying corn. They're very curious with the camera. Hi, Grandma. Ooh, smorgasbord. I love it. Uncle Bun's been doing work with the rocks. Let's mount the steed. Let's get it going. Cool, I'm gonna load up my sprayer, so I'm gonna be putting in Dual, which is a residual chemical, mainly residual. That back tote. I'm also putting in Mesotrone, which is a half residual, probably 3/4 residual, 1/4. It'll burn anything that's up, but I only put that recipe on worked ground, so this should be pretty clean. Just putting a residual down to basically prevent any other weeds from coming up. Let's get going. Let's go do some spraying, but look at those nice rows right there. Shut off timing's a little bit suspect. Oh, that was better. What I mean by that is the corn was basically planting like 10 feet into the already planted corn. That shouldn't happen. Now it's only a foot or so. That's much better. Spraying down here by Deep Creek. That's basically a tributary to the McCulkin River, which is a tributary to the Mississippi River. Sometimes I gotta fold up to 60 to get into some of these tight spots. That little yellow thing in the field is a pretty rare sight on our farm. That is a tile inlet that leads to an underground pipe that can bring water out of that low spot. By no means do we have this entire field pattern tile is what it's called, where basically you need to lay pipe across the entire field to help it drain. We don't need that. We have very good soils right here. I'd argue this is some of the best soils in the county because it's had 40 plus years of manure on it. So it's a phenomenal soil. It grows fantastic corn every single year, or beans when we put it there. But some of that, we have three tile inlets in this entire 150 acres just to basically help drain the low spots. Curtis is working this ground next to Pat's right now. He's working in that 510 horsepower MT865B Cat Challenger tractor, pulling a 52-foot Will Ritz field cultivator. Get it. I sprayed this field with a big old punch of stuff 2 days ago, and the dandelions are wilting. That's what I like to see. It wasn't bad, but there was a good amount of weeds in there, and wanted to get them taken care of, and they were. This individual nozzle control is awesome. So I got this waterway mapped out. I'll watch those nozzles will shut off right when it hits the waterway. Right there. It's kind of hard for you guys to see with the sun at the angle as it is, but shutting off right when it hits there, turn it back on right when I need it to. Kill. Let's do some digging, see where these soybeans are. Oh, I didn't have to dig long. Oh yeah. beans starting to emerge. This soybean field was planted about a week ago, and you can kind of see it's starting to pop up. Corn, how it does is it shoots one root down, and then it just starts to kind of just come straight up. Soybeans, what they do is they kind of fold up. So you can kind of see the head is right here, and it's kind of neck down like this. And it's gonna basically come up out of the ground and fold up. Cool. This field will be emerged in probably 2 days, I'd guess. Especially on a day like today where it's hot, sunny, and windy. It's really gonna pop up. So Curtis just got done working this piece on the right. He worked like 60 to 70% of it. We left, so last fall we chiseled the bottom piece and we chiseled the rest of it this spring after we hauled manure. But this hillside we never worked because it's kind of rocky and it can erode if it's lighter soil, so it can erode. So Curtis is gonna hit it right now and just to kind of break it up, knock down those weeds, and Pat's gonna plant it tonight. Well, this is the dreaded field that gave me poison ivy, but this used to be the fence line right here. You can't even tell where it was. We did a good job picking up the fence, and the bulldozer did a fantastic job shaping this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna farm it all for a year, basically spray through, kill all the grasses and whatnot, and let the water basically naturally tell us where it's gonna go. So we know it's gonna go right through there, but if we put a waterway, we could be off by 5 feet, and that can make a difference. So we're gonna leave this sit for a year, let the water go where it's gonna go, and then next year we're gonna reshape it, put a waterway in where the water went, and we'll be good. I'm excited. Let's get spraying. Man, he did such a good job. I literally do not know where this fence line was. I had to look on my map because I can see last year's boundary was right here. So it was right there, and I can tell because there's a little rut right there. But still, overall, man, this is phenomenal. I'm really excited. This 80 acres is gonna be awesome. So there's definitely plenty of bigger stumps in here. Oh, there's a fence post. Yeah, let's grab that one. That's how tire gets popped. There's plenty of roots and stuff here that we'll have to pick up probably next year, but overall, it's not bad. Yeah, that would have done some damage. Dang it, Budman. Why'd you miss this? It's a good spot for him. This farm was definitely put on a little wet. See how this is all chunky up here? I mean, the dozer coming here doesn't help, but it's still a little chunky in spots. So I'm curious to see how it comes up. This is probably one of the worst planted stuff that worst seed bed we've planted into. I mean, it definitely could be worse. I've definitely been in a lot worse, but still not the best. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. What I mean by that is we like to have garden soil, like where it's really just nice and fine potting soil. It just makes it much easier for the seed to get good seed to soil contact. So basically have the seed likes being hugged by soil. It doesn't like a clump here, a clump there. But then also it makes it much easier when it emerges. You don't have any big chunks to kind of push up when you get out of bed. It's like getting up out of bed when you have one blanket on as opposed to 7. Now I'm gonna head home and finish the bottom piece, or the west of the mailbox I should say, then switch recipes. I'm gonna put a no-till recipe in. Basically just adding Roundup and a solution that helps the Roundup and spray bond to plants. Goats! Right there's Eberhardt's spreader. They're still out spreading dry fertilizer. Well, let's go fill up again. Water from the tank, through the pump, through the adductor where I can get chemicals or I can bypass it, into the sprayer. So I forgot to reset my counter, but I have 135 acres before I started today. We'll see how much I get done. When I'm in this field across the highway from Grandma's, it's a 180 acre field. By far the biggest field that we got and the best field that we got. I mean, this got so much organic matter and so much good stuff in the soil. I mean, it's phenomenal corn we're gonna raise. Well, I should say we always raise, but when I can do this, I can do, and instead of 200 acres an hour, realistic, I can do about 150 acres an hour down here. Nah, maybe not quite that, but still, I mean, I have long half-mile plus rows. Now, I guess I've never really explained my monitor. So what I'm doing here is I have basically a more in-depth map that's more customizable than the Pro 700 here. So I have this graph, this range where basically I have my target rate, which is 12.5 gallons an acre. That's 12.5 gallons of water an acre that I'm putting down. And I'm also putting down 16 ounces an acre. So for the size of a football field, I'm putting in basically 2 milk cartons of this product called Dual, or generic Dual. I'm also putting down 2 ounces, so 2 shot glasses per football field of mesotronic. That's all I'm putting down. That is not that much chemical. But at that 12.5 gallon rate, I gotta make sure I'm staying at that rate. So in the yellow is a gallon high and a gallon low. So 11.5, 13.5 acres, gallons per acre. So you can kind of see that map's mainly yellow, which that's perfect. That's why I have that. It's just much more user friendly. Makes me keep making sure I do a good job. So this will be the true test for my new mic setup. I got the Hero 9 with like a foam pad around it, so I apologize if it's windy, but I'm not sure. So I'm just doing a walk around, seeing how my boom is. I know I got some leak points. I need to get those nozzles replaced. So I got a leak point there. We have to take that apart at some point. A couple leaky nozzles. Other than the leaky nozzles and that one pipe that's leaking, it's not doing too bad. Just kidding. This field is a 210 acre cornfield. So everything I have sprayed or colored out is corn, along with this right here and that right there. So all this is corn. 210 acres, that's huge, massive for us. All done by the home farm. So now I'm gonna head up to back to Huffman's where I was earlier, that nice 80 acre field that we got now. Then I'm headed to the Kunau farm, which is the next farm kind of in line that I'll make our way to Long. So I'm just gonna do a big southern loop of all our farms.
Out working up some ground today. Hopefully we can keep rolling and maybe get done by next week. Wouldn't be too bad. We're down to about 700-ish acres. Moving right along though. Wish we'd get some rain, but it seems to want to keep staying south. We were supposed to get rain this morning and it all stayed south again. So we're gonna keep on rolling.
Well, there's Jeff coming in with the semi. So I'll need that here in a little bit. Got about 5-ish, 12-ish acres left. That's a mud hole. Let's avoid that at all cost. See, Pat went through and made ruts in the planter. Yeesh. It's wet. Still wet there. This looks better. Yeah, let's not get stuck. No thanks. And that's the nice thing about that new water trailer we got. We can take it in a semi. On to the next one.
Headed to the next. I just hit the woolly spots here. The weedy spots where it's not rocky. This field's pretty rocky, so I kind of let this piece right here. But I did the middle of the field where it was pretty green. It was getting pretty green, and didn't take too long. So we're heading to the next one.
Yeah, this field definitely needed it. It's she's dirty. A lot of water hemp coming in here. I'm glad I'm coming in here with a heavy dose of Roundup. Wish I would have hit it earlier because Roundup's really only effective during the day. So I'm getting a little bit close to time when it wouldn't be effective, but I'm still sending it because I got a good punch in here. Another field done. And the next one, I got about 10 acres left of products. I'm for sure just gonna go there and clean out, but I might do another load. We'll see what Pat says. Hard to see through the boom. Well, it's just hard to see period through the boom. But they're putting in a tile line right there. And all that does is help it drain, help fields drain. Tile takes the excess water out and dumps it into a ditch. I literally ran out with that little sliver to go out of this entire field. Ah. Don't want that. Go back. Well, maybe it'll load, but it was a giant field. Like, I sprayed 12 acres spraying around it. Well, not a giant field. And I ran out with that little sliver. That's it. What do you do? So let's go fill up, and I'm only gonna fill up like a half a load just because that's all I'll probably have water for. Well, it's been a hot second since I picked up the camera. Almost forgot about you guys. But it's nighttime. I won the light game, and I'm on my last tank. I got about 18 acres left. I'm not gonna finish this field, but that's gonna be good enough because I ran out of water. Just about done for the night, and we're hoping that we get a rain. We're like 80% planted. Nathan's gonna finish beans here in about the next 10 minutes. Pat's gonna have about 500 acres of corn left, if that. So like I said, we're 75% planted here. We could use a good rain. It's getting pretty dry. And I'm pretty caught up to the planter. I know you guys can't see me, but he planted this stuff around lunchtime today, so I'm pretty caught up. Only a couple hundred acres behind, if that. All done. Let's skedaddle out of here. Pat's that bright speck of light kind of right to the right of my high beam. He's planting this field right here, this wet hole. It'll be good to get this thing in, that's for sure. Then he's gonna come back and he's got another 110 acres to do tonight at his house. So he's gonna have a late night. He's probably gonna be going until 3 in the morning. Well, that's when that rain's supposed to get here. Just rolled into town. Let's go get something to eat. Putting this sucker away for the night. Look at that nestled job. Beautiful. We're gonna tuck things away because we're hoping for a nice rain tonight. So we'll get both planters in here and probably call it good. Go ahead and move this skid loader out of the way because Pat's gonna pull the planter in this one. Nathan's gonna pull his planter here. Nathan should be on his way back, and then we're done with beans. It's a good feeling. So we're gonna switch that planter over to corn. Finish corn in 2 days. That's the hope, at least. Well, I'm calling it a night, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, take it easy, stay safe. And as always, ta-ta for now.